Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live video. And thanks so much. Sorry for being a few minutes late today. We had a little school meeting a couple minutes ago for my daughter's school. She's going to high school next year, so I had a meeting and was hoping to be done right around 2 o'clock, and we did get done fairly soon after 2. So sorry that I'm a couple minutes late, but we're here. So all right. So let's get going on the card. So yikes, I'm all sorts of crazily crooked as always. I don't know why I can't ever get it straight when I'm getting things set up to go live. But anyway, here we are. So all right, hey Karen, thanks for joining today. I appreciate you being here. And so this is a card we're going to make today. It is really easy with the Oceanfront stamp set, which is one of the stamp sets in the current January to June 2022, almost said 2021, yikes, 2022 mini catalog. And it's so easy to use, and I love that it gives you the watercolor effect with being the lazy stamper that I am. I don't like having to watercolor, and this just lets me do it super easy. Hey, Danette and Ginny and Jean Ann and Christy and Julie and Bonnie and Bree. I don't know if I missed anybody else, but thanks so much for joining today. Appreciate you all being here. Oh, Lisa's here too. So all right, so this is the card. Like I said, it's super, super easy to do, which I love. All right, so Oceanfront is the main stamp set that I used. I also used the On the Horizon stamp set. I used the little bird image out of that, and I think that's all that I used on that one. Yep, I think just the little birds. And then I also pulled out the Special Moments stamp set, which is from the Celebration brochure, and Celebration is actually getting ready to end here very soon. So hey Marilyn, glad you like my card, Julie. Like I said, I don't know, I love this stamp set. It's so easy to use. So hey Susan, thanks for joining from New Hampshire. And it's raining here today and cold and kind of just yucky outside. So I don't know how it is where you are, but hopefully warmer and nicer than where I am. So all right, so this is the Special Moments stamp set, and that is where I got the little thanks sentiment from. This is one of the stamp sets that's available for free with an order of $100 or greater during Celebration. Celebration only runs through the end of February, so make sure that you're getting your orders put in very soon so that you can get this stamp set. So again, it's a huge stamp set. When you open it up, it's got, on both sides, 2 sheets of sentiments, and it's a really good one because kind of got some good general sentiments that you can use for almost everything. So again, good stamp sets. That's what we're using today for stamps. And then I've got a couple of die sets that I'm using. I did use the smallest circle die from the Tasteful Labels dies, and that I used to cut out the little sentiment on here. And of course, my very favorite set ever, the stitched rectangle dies. I used the third largest one to cut out the background panel here. Again, super simple stamping, just a little stamping, a little die cutting, and we're set on that one. And then the final die set that I used is the Horizon dies. And it was the bigger fence. So the one that goes like this that I used from this stamp set. And this is bundled together with the On the Horizon stamp set. So these are actually bundled together at a 10% discount in the current mini catalog. So that's what I used. All right, let me set this aside here. Go run through a couple things and we'll get going. Hey, Jean Ann, thanks for joining. I'm glad you like the card, and reminds you of Island Beach State Park. I don't know, that must be in Georgia. I'm not sure where that one is. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, pretty and super easy to use. So, all right, Stampin' Up! Has got their All Together product collection that is going on right now. Started on February 1st and runs through May 2nd. It's in New Jersey. Okay, well, I guess now I need to go find it. So, all right, so they've got the All Together collection that is available now through March 2nd while supplies last. There is a stamp set bundle, just the stamp set or just the dies. You can get them individually or you can get them as a bundle. And then there's Designer Series paper, the All Together 6x6 Designer Series paper, which is all black and white patterns, which is really cool. And then there's a great set of natural tone Stampin' blends. Unfortunately, there are a couple of the blends that are sold out, and I think the remaining ones are on low inventory. So that's the bad news. The good news is that they are going to be restocked. The blends are actually going to be available in the next annual catalog, which starts in May. So I don't know if they will be restocked. Hopefully they'll be restocked before May, but if not, they'll definitely be in the next catalog. The Designer Series paper, stamp set, and dies for this are actually only available while supplies last. So that's something to know. If you want the dies stamp set and/or paper. Make sure you're ordering that soon. The blends you can pick up anytime in the future because they'll be in the next catalog. So, hey, I appreciate that, Kay. Thanks for joining. Waves of the Ocean is the next little promotion that we're going to talk about. So this will be starting on March 1st. It will run through May 2nd, again, while supplies last, on a couple of the things in here. So there's the whole collection that you can get for $79.25. And the collection includes a stamp set bundle, designer series paper, foil paper, and rhinestones. Or like in the previous one, you can buy each item individually or buy just the stamp set bundle, just the stamp set and just the dies, just the papers, whatever it is you want to do, you can mix and match however you would like to on these. And this will be available again while supplies last for the designer series paper, the blue foil paper, and the rhinestones. So those are available while supplies last through May 2nd. If, when those run out, which I think they might because they're really pretty, those are going to be gone. The stamp set bundle is actually going to carry forward into the next annual catalog. So that one is going to be around for a little while. So if you only can get a couple things, make sure you're getting those, the pretty papers. So, all right. Last thing, we just found out about this today, and I'm very excited about this. This is called the Savings Are in Bloom, or Savings Are in Bloom little sale that's starting on March 1st and runs through March 31st. I don't know if you can see that, 20% off the mini only Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then there are a handful of bundles that are also going to be 20% off. So normally they're 10% off, but with the sale that's happening in March, they're actually going to be an additional 20% off. So it's the All Squared Away bundle. Art Gallery, they're rebundling that, and they're going to give you a 20% discount on that. Beauty of Friendship, Celebrate Sunflowers, again, they're rebundling that. Garden Wishes, they're going to rebundle that. Hydrangea Haven, Pansy Patch, Quiet Meadow, Seascape, Sweet as a Peach, Welcoming Window, What's Cooking, and Wildcats bundle. So this is all going to be on my blog tomorrow, so I'll link up to this flyer so you can take a peek at it. Blog is stampwithamyk.com, and I apologize, I forgot to turn the heat off. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to shut off here while I'm talking. All right, it's going to run for a second and then it'll turn off. And I'm sorry, I know it's a loud buzzing sound and I try to remember to shut it off before I get started, but I was distracted with the school meeting and didn't get it done. So, all right, so let's get going. Anyhow, any questions on the Savings in Bloom, just holler and let me know. Again, I'll be posting it on my blog tomorrow, and I will link up the blog post in the video description tomorrow as well, so you'll be able to go back and take a peek at it if you are interested. All the details are going to be posted on my blog tomorrow for this card. So again, no need to, keep track of everything, cardstock cuts and all that sort of thing. So I started with an early espresso card base. This one is cut to 4 1/4 by 5, or 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. This card will also work on your standard book fold card, which is your 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4. But I just had this paper cut and handy, so that is what I went with on the cardstock. I'm adhering a piece of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper, which has got all sorts of wood grains in it, and I love it. And that is cut to about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it'll cover the entire card front. So hey, Jan, thanks for hopping in, and Sherry, thanks for joining from New York. So. All right, next up, we're going to do a little stamping. I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, and it's a little oversized. I don't know, it's a little over 1/4 of a sheet of cardstock. It doesn't need to be that big, but that was just what I had handy, so that is what I went with. And I've got some images here, all on the blocks from the Oceanfront stamp set, and I've got Pool Party ink to start with. This one is the image that's sort of like a almost triangular wedge. Hopefully you can see it on here. I know you'll be able to see it once I stamp it. But that's the image we're going to start with. And you'll want to start with either the water image or the sky image, whichever one you prefer. I found it easier to start with the water image because then I would sort of know where the center of the paper was going to be. And just inking it up well with Pool Party ink. And again, I'm just going to stamp this and hopefully stamp it nicely on a piece of basic white cardstock. All right, there we go. Okay, looks like we got a good image on that one, so I'm going to close up that ink pad before I stick my fingers in it. Next up, and again, look at me, the awesome watercolorer that I am, watercolorist, whatever the word is, that I am. Y'all are so amazed by my fantastic skill. Next up, we've got Balmy Blue, and this is the larger image that looks more rectangular. It's a little jagged along the edges, but it's a larger image that looks more rectangular, again, from the Oceanfront stamp set. And I'm going to ink that up in Balmy Blue ink. Hey, Carol and Annette, thanks for joining, or Antoinette, I'm sorry, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. So again, just inking that up with Balmy Blue, so a little different shade of blue, but pretty close in color and tone to the pool party. And I don't know if you can see it very well on when I've got the image inked up. You should be able to see it fairly well. Now that I look at it, should be able to see it fairly well once I get the image inked and on the paper, that there is a little bit of darker, it's a little darker of an image towards the top of it, if that makes sense. It's a little bit straighter along the bottom, a little more jagged along the top. At least this is how I match the two up. I think this is the right way around. But again, stamping it in Balmy Blue. And so you can see how it's sort of a little bit of a gradient of color. It's a little lighter at the bottom, a little darker at the top. And I didn't do anything to make that happen. That's just the way it stamps with this particular image. All right, let me set that one aside. Then I have got crumb cake ink that I'm going to be using for this sand image. And this one is the one that's kind of the narrow triangle. Again, this is all from the Oceanfront stamp set. Hey, Anne-Marie, thanks for joining. And Carol, I think I already said hi to Carol. Sorry, probably said hi to you twice. That's okay. Better that than not at all. So, all right, so crumb cake ink. And again, I'm just going to take this and line it up here. There's no specific way exactly how to line this up. You just kind of have to, they don't match up precisely. You just kind of have to make it be close. And again, it's supposed to look kind of artsy. So, you know, if they overlap a little bit, that is just fine. And if they don't, that's fine too. So then I've got the little kind of pebbly looking image from the Oceanfront stamp set that I'm going to ink in crumb cake, stamp on scrap paper. And then I'm going to stamp it a couple times over the sand image. All right. Okay. I don't know, and it gives it a little bit of a textured look. Then next up, I have got a couple of the images from that are kind of the seagrass looking images, and we've got soft suede ink that we're going to be stamping those in. And I've got the little bit taller seagrass I'm going to be stamping over along the side here, and want it to be over a little bit over the water, but also mostly kind of down here on the what looks like the sand part. And then there's the little seagrass image that I'm going to ink up and stamp next to it. All right, and then the final image in soft suede is the bird image from the On the Horizon stamp set. The only thing to watch with this one, and I've got it way over inked, but only thing to watch with this one is just making sure you have your birds the right way around. Because it's a little, I don't know, a little confusing when you look at it initially, trying to figure out what's up and what's down on it. But they'll definitely be upside down if you stamp them the wrong way. And if you flipped it the other way, you would definitely know those birds are not right. So, all right. So that's it. And like I said, this is my whole watercolor scene. Are you just all impressed with my watercoloring skills so far? This is why I love stamp sets that do all the work for me, because I'm kind of the lazy stamper. So, all right. So I've got, this is the third largest of the stitched rectangle dies. And I'm going to take it, when I was placing it on here, I just wanted to make it look as kind of even around the edge. And I know these are not like super straight lines, so it's a little hard to say it's even around the edges. But what I didn't want it to be was I didn't want to be cutting it off the top here and then have white on the side. So I wanted to make it look sort of even around the edges with white, and wanted a little bit more of the white to be at the bottom because I knew I was going to be adding some layers down over the top of that. So that is sort of how I decided on placement for the die cut. So it looks like, Sherry and Antoinette are chattering. Okay, all right. So, hey, Jackie, thanks for joining. Glad you liked my card. All right, so I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. All right, hopefully. Okay. And there's my die cut. Again, super easy. Super simple. Next up, and I did some of the die cutting ahead of time. I used the Horizon dies, and this, again, both of these pieces are cut from In Good Taste Designer Series paper. So again, it's all from the same pack, the background piece, the fence, and then the grass. I cut sort of to kind of keep them all in that same neutral sort of wood grain look. Cut them all from the same pack of paper. And again, these are all images from the Horizon dies. And this is the fence that I used, so it's a little bit longer one. And then this is a little grass image that I used. And it's upside down here, of course, on my little magnetic, not plate, magnetic card. There we go. Sorry, sometimes the words don't come up or don't come out right. So, who stamps things upside down? Yeah, I've done it a few times too. So that is why I tried to give you the little tips as I go along so you don't mess up like I do, because I mess a lot of things up, Jillian, so no worries. All right, so placement on here. Because I'm going to be wrapping linen thread around this, and you're going to get to see me kind of struggle and try to thread the twine or thread the linen thread through the opening here. I want to make sure that I have a little space over here where, hopefully you can see it, the edge of the die cut and, lining up my fence post basically. I want to have a little opening over here so that I can slide the linen thread through it. All right, so hopefully you can see that on here. And so I'm going to take liquid glue and I'm going to stick the little fence on to the card front. Again, being careful. I know that the longest fence post I don't need to put glue on because that one is going to be kind of flapping in the breeze over there. So I don't need to put glue on that one. And I also know that I don't need to put glue all the way down to the bottom on the fence posts, on most of them, because it's going to be hanging off the bottom of my rectangle die cut, so I don't want to have glue stuck to everything. And plus, they don't need a whole lot of glue to hold them. So, oh, cool. I'm glad you like the combination of the wood grain. Like I said, wood grains are my favorite designer series paper ever. So anything that's got wood grains in the pack, I'm usually all over using it and probably using it more than I should. So, all right, so I'm going to again take this, line it up here, and stick it down with the liquid glue. And try not to stick it to my fingers. I tried not to get too heavy-handed with the glue because, again, you don't need very much just to stick the pieces together. So I've got linen thread here, and this is the part where you're going to get to see me sort of wrestle it around and try to get it threaded through here, not once but twice. I'm going to wrap it around the card front, or wrap it around the front of the panel, I should say, and then I'm going to tuck it back through that same opening again. So sort of like sewing, only not not at all. I don't know. All right, and then I'm going to continue to feed this through until I think I've got enough thread to tie a nice bow. So like I said, this was the hardest part of it, was trying to get the linen thread run through here so that I have enough, have it on here and somewhat straight and have enough of it to actually tie a decent bow. That was the hardest part of this card. So, all right, so I think I'll pull this tight and hopefully we will be good to go. Trim this off here so I can actually try to tie the bow. And when I'm tying bows, particularly with linen thread and things like that that are a little bit thinner, I usually tie a knot first, and that sort of lets me, it allows me to be able to allows me to be able to more easily, are the words that I'm trying to say, tie a bow, because everything is kind of held in place. Once the knot is tied, it holds everything in place, and then I can make the bow and hopefully make it look pretty and take a few minutes to kind of, wiggle it around and get it where I want it to be. But once I've tied the knot on it, then that holds everything in place, so I don't have to worry so much about making sure that everything is, trying to hold it with 2 fingers or 3 fingers or 5 fingers or whatever. So, all right, I'm going to trim this off so it's a little more even. And we've got that tied. Once I got that tied, then I went ahead and stuck the little grass die cut over the top of it. So, and again, I just want to be a little careful while I'm putting the glue on here. So generally, this is where I'm going to want my grass piece to land. And my daughter and I were chatting about this, and I was trying to figure out how to stick this on here the most sensible way. And we decided it should go up at an angle, kind of like the fence. And then I'm going to trim away a little bit of the fence underneath it once I get everything stuck down. So I'm going to take this and sort of just flip it down like this, so that I have a general idea of where the glue should go, because again, I don't want to end up with a big, huge gluey mess. And I don't need a whole ton of glue on this either, because it's, it doesn't take a lot to hold it in place. It's just mainly, make sure you got a few little spots here and there to hold it in place and not get too overzealous with the glue. All right, so let me flip it over here. and hopefully end up with it landing in the right spot without glue all over everything. And because it's sort of over top of the linen thread, it gives it a little bit more of a 3D effect with the grass. So I'm glad you liked the bow through the fence, and hopefully it wasn't too painful watching me try to wiggle it through there. So, all right, so I've got this stuck together. And then I just took my little paper snips and went right underneath the grass and just sort of snipped away the little fence post pieces that you could see underneath. That looked a little odd because normally the fence would not be showing underneath the grass image. So there we go. I think we'll call that good. All right, so that's it. I mean, that's really kind of it for the, the card front. It's really, really easy. So, all right, let me grab the card base again, and I'm just going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we are going to stick this to the card front. So I chopped my Stampin' Dimensionals in half, and I know some people love that, and some people do not love that. So you can choose to put on Stampin' Dimensionals however you want. I like the half ones, just because I feel like they are just as sticky as the regular ones. Only, I better put my lid on my glue before I end up with a gluey mess. Only they're smaller and they fit in better places, I think. So, and I've converted a few of my team members to using the half ones too. So. I kind of liked this card as kind of a general occasion one too, and you know, that stamp set has got so many sentiments in it. You really could use it for almost anything. I agree. So, all right, and again, trying to get this lined up so that it's fairly straight and fairly even all the way around. I was trying to keep the white centered on here, so if that makes sense. This part I knew was going to hang off a little bit. All right, next up is sentiment, and I actually went ahead and cut this ahead of time, and if I end up with a total mess, I actually have a second one, and I have backup paper, so if I really make a mess of things, hopefully I can still get it done in some sort of reasonable manner. So I've got the sentiment from the Special Moments stamp set, which again, this is one of the Celebration sets that's only available for about another week, and Celebration will be done, and it's one of the photopolymer sets, so it's real easy to ink and stamp with. She says, as she probably stamps it crooked on this. So this is basic white cardstock that I have cut ahead of time with the Tasteful Labels stamps, or Tasteful Labels dies, I'm sorry. So this is the smaller of the circle dies, and I'm just gonna kind of aim for getting it as centered as possible. Probably a little low. I may try the second one that I cut and see if I get a little better on it, and if I don't, we'll just go with whichever one looks best. All right, I think that one's a little more centered, so that's the one I'm going to go with. Get rid of that one. And then I'm going to grab, again, some of my little Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm glad you're liking the card. Like I said, it came together really, really quickly once I kind of decided that I was going to use the stamp set and decided I wanted the wood grain paper. The rest of it was really easy. It's just a matter of, you know, stamping the pretty images and putting it down on paper. So got, again, a couple Stampin' Dimensionals, and add my little sentiment down here. Then I talked about these earlier, the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels that are coming on March 1st are absolutely beautiful. They're in all sorts of blues and greens. And I thought they worked perfectly, even though technically I don't think the colors I used in this are colors that are on supposedly in the gems. I still thought that they looked close enough in color that I was using them because I love them. They're very, very pretty. So, all right, just going to add a couple of those little gems on here. And just put them right around the bow. And that's it for the card front. So done, super easy. All right. On the inside of the card, I have got basic white cardstock. And I'm just going to take the images that I stamped the sand images is what I'm trying to say, in crumb cake ink. We're going to start with this and start with the kind of triangular image. The jewels really are beautiful, and the paper is too, so I mean, it's a great set. I don't know, it's all pretty. So you definitely just don't resist and just buy it all, because you're going to love it and you'll be sad if you didn't. So, all right, so I've got the sand image, and again, crumb cake, and I'm inking up the little dot image, and I'm going to ink it, stamp it off, and then stamp it again here on the basic white cardstock panel. This one's cut to 4 by 5 1/4, so it should fit nicely inside the card. And then I'm going to grab my soft suede ink, and I've got the little kind of the taller seagrass image. We're going to stamp that here, and then we'll take the little seagrass image and stamp that down here a little bit lower. And that's going to be it for the inside of the card. So, like I said, it's super easy. Going to take a little Stampin' seal and stick the two pieces together. So, all right. Put this inside the card and we'll be all done. So thanks so much for joining today. I appreciate it. I'm glad y'all are here. Hopefully you like the card and you love the stamp set enough to get it. Like I said, I love it. It's beautiful, beautiful, super easy to use. Makes us all look like excellent watercolor people, even though I'm the ultimate and lazy stamper and I never watercolor anything. So, oh, and I see the tails on my my linen thread need to be trimmed down just a little bit too because they're crazily long. So, all right. So that's it. Super easy. Like I said, you know, it makes all of us look like artists when all you have to do is add a little ink, a little a little paper, and you're all set and good to go. So thanks for being here today. I appreciate you joining me. I will plan to be back here live on my YouTube channel actually next week, or on Friday around 2 o'clock Eastern time, and then back here next week, Tuesday, around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Facebook Live. So thanks again for joining. I appreciate you being here. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be posting the details on the blog tomorrow, so you can all check it all out then. Don't forget, Celebration is ending soon, so get your orders in, or just join, and then you can pre-order all the goodies too. So anyway, because there's a join-in special going on too. You get 2 free stamp sets with your starter kit. So holler if you have any questions about any of that, and we'll just chat soon.